Hey everyone, I just want to start off by warning all of you that this is going to be very amateurish. I'm literally only doing this for Reddit and to pay it forward for people that helped me before I got this, and I just wanted to make sure that I paid it forward. I have a 17-inch Alienware R4, 1440p, 120Hz G-Sync. I have 1 TB of hard drive and a 500 SSD, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and those are basically my specs. So far, well, let me just start off by saying, other than it being amateurish, this will be a straightforward video. I'm not going to do any editing whatsoever, so it's probably going to end up being fairly long, and I'm assuming anyone who really needs this information will not be bothered much by that. So if you're looking for a really fresh looking review, then go elsewhere. Anyway, so I just wrote a bunch of things down, and I'm just going to go through them. So I also wrote some things down that some people were asking me in the comments. So I'll start off with the flashy, stuff and gimmicky stuff. I'm not so sure if it will be a gimmick or it will expand in the future, but Tobii eye tracking is, I'm not going to lie, it's actually pretty cool. Let me show you. This is the intro that comes with this is the intro that comes with the eye tracking, and it pretty much does exactly what it claims to. Right now, this is just going to show that I'm not touching the screen at all, and it will start to track my eye movement. And you see I am not using my hands, and it is looking around the screen, and you see how it tracks the asteroids that I'm looking at, and all I have to do is click a button. I'm clicking the space bar right now, and it shoots anything that I'm looking at. So it's a really cool function, and to turn it off, all I have to do is look to the right, and I'm looking at that button, and I click spacebar, and then it goes bye-bye. So that is the introduction that you will see to Tobii eye tracking if you get this. It also has some settings. So these settings will allow you to change what Tobii eye tracking can do for you. Right now I actually have all of these features off because honestly I don't like my computer turning off or sleeping or anything like that when I don't want it to. Some people might like this function, and I can definitely see a good use for it. The only one I kept on was light up keyboard, so the keyboard will only light up if I am not sitting here staring at the computer. So you see my keyboard is on, but if I walk away from it, the keyboard should turn off any second. Maybe, maybe not. I'll give it 2 more seconds, but honestly it usually does turn off. I'm not sure why it's not right now, maybe because the settings are on, I'm not sure. But it usually does turn off within a few seconds. So yeah, also I thought a cool feature was it can warp the mouse movement. It's kind of annoying to show you, and you wouldn't really grasp, get the full effect of it if you're not actually using it. But basically, if you have this on, if you click it on, all you have to do is look at a part in the screen and the mouse cursor will shoot over to it with simply touching the mouse slightly. It's kind of, I personally believe it's a bit more annoying than helpful. It's really cool at first, but it's more so a gimmick, I think. And let's see. I am hoping, maybe there already is an app for it, but I'm really hoping, if anything, that they make it voice activated so you don't have to touch anything at all and you can just look at any icon on the screen and just say the word click or something. And that would be very useful, I think, especially to like people who are disabled, etc. Anyway, so that's Tobii eye tracking. I showed you the lights. Anyone with Alienware is probably familiar with the Alien FX. I'm guessing. I've honestly never had an Alienware before. I've had friends with an Alienware, but I'm pretty sure this is, you know, pretty much the same. Maybe there's an extra feature or two. I'm not sure, but you can see it by the zone. There's 4 zones on the keyboard. You can change the Alienware logo. There are 4 different lights, 2 lights on each side of the laptop. For example, I made mine green and blue. And you can change everything on the color wheel. Not just the color wheel, but you can change it to anything you want. So, let's see. These are just power options, and you can also change the color of the tactics keys on the side and in the top right corner. You can change the colors and set what they, you know, the macros here. And then this is game monitoring that I haven't actually used. I've been using MSI Afterburner. Anyway, so that is the lights. Build and size I wrote down. So the build, honestly, it's really, let me turn on the lights. It's really a great build, if I'm honest. It feels very sturdy, and like you can't bend it at all. I remember someone on a review said, if I feel very confident to drop this laptop. I wouldn't go that far, but like I do feel like if you did drop this laptop, it might be okay. I had an MSI right here. This is my old laptop, and this, for example, is very floppy, and I could probably easily bend this in half, fairly easily. This I could not. There's no way I would bend this in half. Maybe if I tried my absolute hardest, I would break it, obviously, but I don't think I could just like easily bend it in half like I could the MSI. Although I'll give them the credit that this was the supposedly thinnest gaming laptop in the world at the time when I bought it, and so it was made to be very thin. Size, it is monstrous. Yeah, like many of you are probably expecting, it is huge. The MSI is also a 17-inch, and really what makes this bigger is this extra piece right here with the fans and what have you. So, since I have the MSI here, I guess I could just kind of give you a size comparison. I'm putting it directly on top as even as I can, and you see how the back just kind of sticks out. So if you have a 17-inch laptop, I would expect another inch or two. And on the sides, I don't know if you noticed when I put it on top, but it was pretty even going horizontally. So I wouldn't worry about that. I actually put this laptop as a test into the MSI bag that came from MSI. It was an MSI design bag, and it does fit, but it did not fit in the laptop compartment. You can just fit it in the bag, and it's extremely snug even then. So you really are going to have to probably get the Vindicator 2. Make sure it's the 2.0 if you're going to get it. because I heard it doesn't fit in the old version. Otherwise, you'll have to just get one of those monstrous third-party bags that you can find on Amazon or something. I personally don't like the Vindicator look, but that's just me. I don't like having a bag that screams, "Hey, steal me, I'm a really expensive laptop." So, that's the size. Then I started writing, let's see, temperatures, CPU, GPU, frames per second, and games. So this is probably what many of you actually want to see. I have The Witcher, Tomb Raider, and Civilization 6. I'll turn them on a little bit for each of them. For The Witcher, it is certainly the most demanding. It is really, it's really hard on the computer. And if I'm being completely honest, my laptop actually turned off for the first time a couple hours ago. It just totally shut down. And that was while I was playing Witcher on Ultra. And I'm about to do the same thing right now. When I went back and played it after it shut off, it did not do it again. So it could have just been a coincidence. I'm really not sure why it shut down. Let's see. So I don't know why my Windows bar is up. Anyway, so I'll continue where I was. I've never actually played this game because my MSI was overheating way too much to the point where I couldn't play it. And that's one of the reasons why I bought this, is because it just can't handle games like it used to. So, as you can see in the top left corner, I'm getting 60 degrees GPU, 75 on my CPU, and only 45 frames per second. This is on Ultra. I won't bother going to the settings, you'll just have to trust me. It's complete max settings. It's a beautiful game. So 45 frames per second, and my CPU is at 50 to 60%, I guess. And my CPU has reached up into about 90 at some points. I guess when it shut down, I wasn't paying attention to the temperature at the time, so I'm not sure if it was reaching like 100 or something, but I've never personally seen it go past like 92. And when it does get that high, it's only for a split second, and it'll shoot down to like in the 70s or the 80s. That's Witcher. That's with Witcher. The other games don't seem to go as high, especially not Civilization 6, for obvious reasons, since it's not nearly as demanding. And I just realized I'm just running without my horse because I'm not even paying attention to what I'm doing. So that's The Witcher. Let me exit out of this. And since the game is running, I'll kind of show you the decibels. So that's with the fans running at their max. This is usually the loudest it will get. And if you look at my app, 50 is quiet office, moderate rainfall. I would say usually this laptop is actually quieter than my MSI was. When it does go to its max, I would say it's slightly higher. But again, it usually only does that for a limited amount of time, unless you're playing something as demanding as The Witcher. Let's do Rise of the Tomb Raider. Okay, so Tomb Raider is a little bit better in terms of how the laptop is handling it. Like right now I'm getting 120 frames per second when, you know, it's not really doing anything. But it does tend to get that high when you're not, when, you know, there's nothing too crazy happening on the screen. And you see how it shot straight down to 60 once it started going. But you see how low the temperatures are in comparison to The Witcher. So let me just move it around a little bit and get some more tension on the CPU and GPU.
There was something in Dad's research about this.
It was said the Prophet's tomb was hidden in the cliffs above one of the forgotten cities. Legend speaks of an oasis where the Prophet was laid to rest.
Anyone who doesn't know this game, I'm not really spoiling too much for you. This is the first, like, you know, 5-10 minutes into the game, so same thing with The Witcher. And see, it's staying nice and cool. 60 frames per second. And again, these are... Oh, and she's dead. These are... this is on ultra settings, just like Witcher. Let me see. Let me go to the main menu, and I will do the benchmark real quick for Tomb Raider. Sorry for sniffling my nose in the camera. You know how it is, it's getting cold. So here's the benchmark. I'll just keep it on the stats for a while, since it's not really a big deal to see what's actually going on the screen. Oh, and look at that temperature. Ooh. Ouch. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. And it stayed up there for a bit, and then it usually up, and there's proof. So, what do we take from that? Yeah, honestly, I don't really know what to say about that, because that shouldn't happen. Now, I have not done anything. I have done absolutely nothing to this computer, with the exception of restoring it. What do they call that? I basically reinstalled Windows through Windows. I just clicked the button and let it do its work. And the reason I did that, I didn't do that at first. I tried to deal with what they gave me for the first couple of days, but it kept freezing up quite a bit. And it would usually only freeze when I used any type of Windows application, such as going into the settings, updating the computer, and actually it wouldn't even let me update. It was giving me a lot of trouble, and so I finally gave up on it and reinstalled it, and it started working much better ever since. And if you notice, you can use your Tobii eye tracking to just kind of go through that sign-in screen, but I actually have dial-up broadband, and unfortunately, and you see how it just went in with that DOS prompt, it actually just signed in for me. I have it set up to sign in the second I log on to the computer, but unfortunately you have to manually log in every single time, so with my setup. So so I can't use it because I guess you have to be online for it to work. For some reason it did work for me one time, and I guess that was because I don't know, my computer was sleeping and it woke up and I was still technically online, and it worked. And it worked very fast. It was something like 1 to 2 seconds, and noticed me and signed me on. So yeah, that was Tomb Raider. And you saw it did restart fairly quickly. Sometimes those sluggish or stuttering issues that I have does creep back up. So there's still something wrong. But it only happens on occasion. If it continues, I'm probably going to call... I'm actually in Japan. I'm living in a foreign country. But Alienware told me that they would support my warranty and insurance or whatever it is in Tokyo as well. So if it continues to bother me, I will definitely complain. But here is Civilization, the least demanding. And crap, I'm sorry. For some reason, whenever it's only Civilization, for some reason it always launches to where's Afterburner? I didn't start Afterburner. Yeah, it always launches 2. Not always, sometimes, but let's see if it does it again. I usually go in and check like 10 to 20 seconds later to make sure I'm not running 2 at the same time, because obviously that would be kind of shitty. Excuse my language. So let me check real quick, and I'm only running 1. So, okay, so going into Civilization, I already have a game running from before, so I'm just going to go into that. I was playing this game on my MSI before I got this, and it is significantly faster. This loading screen, for example, loads before Sean Bean stops talking. My MSI did not. And let's see. So, and I forgot to mention the G-Sync. Honestly, I've never had G-Sync or 120 Hz before. Since those games weren't really going past 60 frames per second often, I guess it wasn't, I'm not obviously going to notice a huge difference with the 120 Hertz. But I do notice that the movement is smoother. I was kind of expecting better from from how people talk about it online, like it was like the greatest thing ever to happen to gaming. Don't get me wrong, it's good, but I don't know, I guess I got my hopes up thinking it was going to be incredible. And this game, although it's not graphically demanding, there is a lot going on at once in this game, and unfortunately, the graphic here is kind of limiting your visibility, but it is getting up in the 70s on the CPU, 60s in the GPU. Let's see, frames per second is 72. 95% load. Wow. Oh, but it jumped back down to 60. So that is basically Civilization. But you can see how smooth it can get. Maybe not on this camera. And yeah, come to think of it, any video I saw, you can really notice a difference too much. But you do see a slight difference even in a game like this, especially when you have, let me see if I can get like unit movement. Here we go. So even like the unit movement going from one tile to another, you just see, I don't know, it just looks a bit smoother. Otherwise, no true significant differences, but it is nice to have, obviously. I'm getting at 100 frames per second, but it seems to, this game is usually anywhere from like 70 to 120, I guess. And that's that. So those are the games. The lines, dead pixels, original issues. So I do have a dead pixel, one dead pixel. Let me see if I can get a better wallpaper on here, or so you can actually see it. Let me see. Ugh, sorry. Personalize. Yeah, stars, that's gonna be perfect. How do I just make it black? Oh, picture. Solid color. There we go. So, you're gonna see a little smudge. Probably because I was touching it, because I thought I was making sure it was an actual dead pixel. And you see it? It's right there. Fantastic. So, I don't think it's that noticeable, honestly, from here. You probably can't even see it on the camera, especially with the smudge there. But I'm probably not going to complain about that, unless something else significant happens. Again, I'm in Japan, don't want to deal with customer service here. So that is what it is, I guess. The lines, people are complaining quite a bit with these lines, and I do not really see any lines when I'm sitting back here. This is like my normal seated position right here. This is my view of the laptop. Now, if I zoom in, let me actually zoom in. And I've never tried to do it on this camera before, so forgive me. Maybe you can see it right now. Maybe you can't. But, yeah, sorry, it's not really, I don't have the best camera in the world. And I'm not zooming anymore, I'm just kind of pushing it closer. Yeah, so you see, I can't really see them that well. If I look completely close to the screen, I can see them, yes. I will not deny that at all. But I have to really put my face, maybe I'll start to see them maybe a foot away. So if the laptop were actually on my lap, I would probably notice them. But my laptop is usually on my desk, so it doesn't bother me at all. In terms of viewing angle,